The moment your wish becomes reality is not when the world confirms it, but when you do. It happens in that quiet, sacred instant when something inside you shifts, when you stop hoping and finally know, when you stop reaching and start being. That inner click, that subtle certainty, is the true creation. Everything that follows in the outer world is merely the echo of that inner acceptance. You felt moments like this before, moments when you decided something with full conviction, and life rearranged itself accordingly. Maybe it was a job you suddenly realized you were worthy of, a relationship you knew you were done with, or a decision that came from a place deeper than logic. Once the decision became alive in you, the world around you had no choice but to reflect it. Creation is always an inside-out process. There is a gentle but powerful truth working beneath the surface of your life. You are not waiting for your desire. Your desire is waiting for you to assume it. The moment you claim it in imagination, the moment you wear it as naturally as your own name, it begins moving toward you, or more accurately, you move into alignment with it. There is a timeless scripture that whispers this truth in simple words. When you pray, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. That is not a suggestion. It is a law, a divine instruction written for the one who understands that imagination is the creative power, to believe you have received before anything changes. This is the true act of faith. This is the inner moment where the unseen becomes more real to you than the seen. When you imagine the fulfillment of your wish not as something distant, not as something you're trying to achieve, but as something already accomplished, you shift into the version of you who already possesses it. And once you shift, everything else must follow. Life cannot resist the one who has already become the answer to their own prayer. Think of a simple example. Consider someone who desires confidence. They practice affirmations, read books, watch videos, yet nothing changes until one day they feel something new. They stop trying to become confident and begin to feel confident. They speak differently. They walk differently. They carry themselves as though the transformation has already happened. And because they assume the feeling, the world can only respond with situations that match it. Their inner acceptance becomes their outer reality. Or imagine a person who longs for love. They might wait for signs, wonder when their moment will come, or question their worth. But the moment they begin to feel cherished, valued, chosen, long before any partner appears, their energy shifts. The world recognizes this self-concept and mirrors it back through relationships, opportunities, and unexpected connections. They didn't change the world, they changed themselves, and the world simply followed. This is the quiet mystery. Assumption is creation, not effort, not striving, not pleading. Assumption. You may think your desire is far away because you do not yet see evidence, but the spiritual world, your imagination, is the origin of every manifestation. Physical reality is simply a delayed photograph of your inner state. What you accept as true inwardly must appear outwardly, even if the path remains hidden from you for a time. There is a beautiful quote that echoes this principle. It is done unto you according to your belief. Notice it does not say according to your effort, or according to your worthiness, or according to what others think is possible. It says belief, the inner acceptance, the quiet knowing. When you dare to claim the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you align yourself with a deeper truth. Your desire exists because it is already yours in the unseen. Desire is not a tease. It is not a reminder of what you lack. It is a preview of what is already prepared for you. When you desire something sincerely, lovingly, repeatedly, it is because creation has already happened. You are simply being invited to step into alignment with it. Imagine your desire as a doorway. You stand outside it when you hope, when you try, when you doubt. But you walk through that doorway when you assume. And once you walk through, the world behind you will shift to match the place you've entered. Everything begins to rearrange itself to support the new state you inhabit. Sometimes the outer world takes time to catch up, not because your desire is delayed, but because old beliefs and fears linger. But even during this period, something in you already knows it is done. The waiting becomes peaceful. The journey becomes gentle. You stop searching for signs because you yourself become the sign. And this is the most empowering truth. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative power of the universe working through you. When you imagine lovingly, you are shaping the unseen substance from which all things are formed. When you feel the wish fulfilled, you breathe life into that form. And when you persist in that feeling, you allow the invisible to condense into the visible. Consider a farmer who plants a seed. They do not dig it up every day to check its progress. They trust the unseen process beneath the soil. They water it, nourish it, and expect its growth because the nature of the seed is to become. In the same way, the moment you plant the assumption of your desire and imagination, its growth becomes inevitable. Your only work is to nurture the inner feeling with faith, love, and expectancy. You may be tempted at times to look outward for validation. But remember this, the outer world is merely a mirror. It cannot reflect what you have not yet accepted within. You do not stare into a mirror and expect your reflection to smile first. You smile and the reflection follows. Your inner world leads, the outer world obeys. There is a profound simplicity to this. Feel it real, and life will make it real. Not because you forced it, but because you surrendered to the truth that all things begin in consciousness. So let yourself relax into your desire. Let it feel natural to you. Let it feel familiar. Imagine the end lovingly, gently, with gratitude. Feel the relief of it is done. Feel the joy of already having it. Feel the peace of knowing you no longer need to search. When you reach that inner moment of certainty, even if it lasts only a breath, you have crossed the invisible threshold. The wish has been accepted. The bridge of events will unfold, and you will look back someday and realize that everything changed the moment you changed. This is the moment your wish becomes reality, when you dare to assume it, feel it, and claim it, not as a future possibility, but as a present truth. And as you hold this truth lovingly within you, life responds with equal love, shaping itself to honor the state you occupy. There is nothing to fear, nothing to chase. Your only task is to become the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Once you do, the world cannot help but comply. So breathe, relax. Step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let it be yours now, and trust the quiet power within you, the power that has been creating your world since the beginning. The moment you accept your desire and imagination is the moment it becomes real. Everything after that is simply the unfolding of what has already been decided in the unseen. It is yours. It has always been yours. And now you are ready to live it. And as you let this truth settle into your heart, you begin to understand that nothing stands between you and the life you desire except your own reluctance to believe. The moment you dare to believe, fully, gently, without strain, you unlock doors that effort alone could never open. You begin to notice a softness in your world, a new ease, a quiet guiding hand shaping your steps. Conversations shift, opportunities appear, ideas come to you at the perfect moment, and none of it feels forced because it is flowing from the state you now occupy. You do not have to know how your desire will unfold. The how has never been your responsibility. Your only role is the inner acceptance, the feeling, the assumption. The rest is done through ways so natural, so seamless, that you may not even recognize them as answers to your prayer until later. What feels like coincidence is simply the universe arranging pieces that you set in motion through your imagination. Think of someone who longed for healing, from fear, from lack, from self-doubt. They tried everything to fix the outer symptoms, yet nothing changed. But one day, they imagined themselves whole. They imagined waking up without fear, speaking with confidence, living with joy. They imagined the relief, the ease, the peace. And in that quiet moment of imagining, they felt something shift. They felt a sense of wholeness rise from within. And from that day forward, the world conspired to match their new state. Not instantly, not all at once, but steadily, lovingly, faithfully. People entered their life who mirrored this new confidence. Opportunities arose that strengthened their belief. The healing began the moment they accepted it as real inside themselves. This is the nature of all transformation. It begins unseen. It begins with a thought accepted as truth. It begins with you daring to feel the end before the beginning appears. There is a powerful reminder written long ago: faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
This does not mean faith is blind. It means faith is creative. Faith is the invisible substance from which visible things are formed.
When you feel the reality of your desire internally, you are giving it substance, shape, and life long before the world reveals it to you. And the beautiful thing is that this inner work is gentle. It doesn't require strain or pressure. It only requires willingness, a willingness to feel differently, to see differently, to accept differently. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not a loud or dramatic emotion. It can be quiet, like a soft knowing, a peaceful surrender, a relaxed confidence. Sometimes people imagine that assuming their desire means forcing a feeling or repeating affirmations with intensity. But true assumption is calm. It is natural. It feels like breathing. It feels like slipping into a warm room after being out in the cold. It feels right. You may notice as you enter this feeling that old doubts rise up. That's normal. Doubt is simply the echo of an older version of you. Let it come, let it be, and let it pass. Do not argue with it. Do not fear it. Gently return to the feeling of already having what you desire. Your persistence in feeling is what dissolves the old patterns and strengthens the new. And as you persist, you begin to live from your wish, not toward it. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak differently, think differently. You begin to make decisions as the person who already possesses what you once longed for. And this shift in identity is the true magic. Because once you become that person inwardly, the world must reflect it outwardly. This is why imagination is more powerful than action. Action follows the state, it does not create the state. When the inner state is secure, the outer actions become effortless. You do not act to force change. You act because change has already happened within you. You act from fulfillment, not for fulfillment. And the more you practice this, the more you see that imagination is not something separate from reality. It is the foundation of reality. Everything you experience began as an invisible assumption, either consciously or unconsciously. And now you are choosing to create consciously, lovingly, deliberately. So when you imagine your desire, don't imagine it as something far away. Imagine it as though it is happening now. Feel the naturalness of it. Feel the familiarity. Feel the gratitude, as though you have received everything your heart asked for. Let the feeling wrap around you like a gentle embrace. Let it soften your fears and quiet your doubts. Let it become your new home. And remember, your desire is not random. It is not accidental. It is a whisper from the deeper part of you calling you into expansion. What you want wants you. What you seek is seeking you. The moment you assume it, you meet it in the unseen, and the two of you become one. Every desire carries within it the power for its own fulfillment. You do not have to make it happen. You simply allow it to happen by accepting its reality in your inner world. The bridge of events will unfold naturally, step by step, guided by an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind. Even now, as you read these words, something in you is awakening. Something in you recognizes this truth because it has always been yours. You are remembering your power, the power to imagine, to assume, to create. And as you embrace this power, your world will transform in ways both subtle and miraculous. You may begin to notice little things first, changes in your mood, a newfound sense of hope, unexpected kindness from others, a lightness in your step. These are the early signs that your inner shift is taking root. They are gentle reminders that the seed you planted is growing, even if who cannot yet see the full bloom. And as you continue to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, that inner certainty grows. You stop asking when and begin saying thank you. You stop searching for signs and realize you are the sign. You stop waiting for evidence and become the evidence. This is the quiet miracle of creation. Everything begins within you, and everything returns to you transformed by your assumption. The moment you dare to feel your desire is real, the universe bends to accommodate that feeling, weaving circumstances, aligning people, shaping outcomes that match the state you have entered. Keep walking in that state. Keep breathing in that feeling. Keep trusting that unseen power moving through you, creating through you, expressing through you. For it is in this sustained assumption that your world will reveal the fullness of what you have already accepted in imagination. And as you remain in this inner knowing, life begins to unfold with a different rhythm. You start to sense that you're no longer pushing against the current, you're moving with it. What once felt difficult now feels guided. The things you used to chase begin flowing toward you with surprising ease. You realize that your state of being has always been the true magnet, and now that your inner world has shifted, the outer world has no choice but to follow. You start to notice that nothing in your reality is random. Every encounter carries meaning. Every delay hides a blessing. Every closed door redirects you to something better. You begin to see the invisible hand that has always been guiding you, patiently waiting for you to assume the truth of who you are and what you deserve. There is a subtle but profound peace that comes with this realization. You no longer need to hurry, force, or fear. You walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that the fulfillment of your desire is not a POS.
Stability. It is an inevitability.
You accepted it within yourself, and that acceptance is the true moment of creation. Everything else is simply the path unfolding. And even on days when you don't feel your strongest, you can return to imagination, the sacred place where all things begin. You can close your eyes, breathe deeply, and step into the feeling of the reality you've chosen. You can rest in that inner sanctuary where nothing is impossible, where your desire is already accomplished, where you are already the version of yourself you long to be. In this space, you remember that imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the blueprint of reality. It is the place where you rehearse your new life before the world displays it. It is where you commune with the unseen power that shapes all things. And each time you return to that feeling, you strengthen the bridge between the invisible and the visible. People may look at your life and call your results lucky or coincidental. They may not understand the quiet inner work you've done, the moments you chose faith over fear, the nights you imagined the best when circumstances showed you the worst. They may never know the depth of your inner transformation. But you will know. And you will smile because you understand the law at work. You'll begin to see that the world responds not to your words, but to your assumptions, not to your requests, but to your inner identity. If you assume abundance, life rushes to meet you with opportunities. If you assume love, your relationships shift to reflect the love you've accepted. If you assume success, doors open in places you never expected. The assumption is the cause, the world is the effect. And with each manifestation, your faith deepens. You learn to trust your inner voice over outer noise. You learn to rest in the unseen rather than panic in the visible. You learn that creation is not a battle but a surrender, an allowing, a remembering, a gentle return to the truth that what you seek is already within you. Your desire becomes less of a distant dream and more of a natural extension of who you are. You stop needing signs because you have become aligned with the end. You stop seeking proof because the feeling itself becomes proof. You stop worrying about time because you understand that the moment you assumed the creation was completed, and this inner knowing blooms into a way of living. You walk through the world as someone who understands the power of consciousness. You approach each day with quiet strength, knowing that your feelings are creative and your imagination is sacred. You treat your inner world with reverence because you now see that it is the birthplace of everything you experience. The more you honor this truth, the more miracles seem to find you, not because you are special in the eyes of the world, but because you have awakened to the truth that every person carries within them, the same divine creative power. You simply chose to use it consciously, lovingly, faithfully. You begin to notice how your reality shifts in response to the smallest change in your inner dialogue. A new assumption brings a new opportunity. A new belief brings a new connection. A new inner feeling brings a new outcome. You see how responsive the universe is, how delicate, and yet how powerful your imagination can be when guided by faith rather than fear. And as this awareness grows, so does your compassion for yourself and for others. You understand now that everyone is creating from their inner assumptions, whether consciously or not. Judgments fade away because you see the deeper truth. Each person is doing the best they can with their current understanding of themselves. You begin to bless others in your thoughts. knowing that your assumption of good or them carries creative power as well. Your own desire becomes lighter, easier to hold. You no longer cling to it or worry about its arrival. You let it float within you like something already familiar, already yours. And this relaxed acceptance is what speeds its outer expression. A desire held in tension is delayed. A desire held in peace is fulfilled. In this peace, you find a new rhythm of living, one where imagination becomes a daily companion. You imagine not out of desperation, but out of joy. You assume not out of fear, but out of certainty. You feel the end not to escape the present, but to elevate it. You begin living from a future that already exists in consciousness, and that future starts pouring into your present in unexpected ways. Every day becomes a quiet celebration of the unseen becoming seen. Every moment becomes an opportunity to return to the feeling of fulfillment. Every challenge becomes a reminder to stand firm in your assumption. And every desire becomes a doorway into a deeper understanding of who you truly are and what you are capable of creating. You realize that you are not merely hoping for a new life. You are embodying it moment by moment. And as you continue in this inner embodiment, your world reshapes itself around you with grace, precision, and perfect timing. And as this new way of being settles into your daily life, you start to witness how naturally everything aligns around the state you occupy. Situations that once felt confusing now make sense within the larger flow. What once seemed like obstacles now appear as gentle nudges guiding you toward your assumed end. You find yourself smiling at moments that used to frustrate you, because you now understand that nothing can truly oppose the reality you have already accepted within yourself. When you look at your desire now, it no longer feels like a longing. It feels like a memory, a meant you've already lived in imagination so many times that it has become part of you. And because it is part of you, it must express itself outwardly. The world cannot withhold what you have already internalized. It cannot deny what you have claimed in consciousness. You start to walk with a quiet authority, not arrogance, but assurance. You understand that every state has its own thoughts, feelings, and behavior, and that by choosing your state, you choose your entire experience. You choose how you show up, how you respond, what you attract, and what you allow. This inner choice becomes your greatest freedom. Even the way you speak begins to shift. You speak less about what you want and more from the place of already having it. You speak with gratitude rather than longing, with certainty rather than doubt. You speak from the end, and your words carry the vibration of fulfillment. Your inner conversations change too. Where there once was fear, there is reassurance. Where there once was questioning, there is clarity. Where there once was lack, there is abundance. You realize that these inner conversations are the true prayers, the true seeds planted in the fertile soil of imagination. And as you nurture them with love, they bear fruit in your external world. Others may notice a glow in you, a calmness, a confidence that cannot be explained by circumstance. They may sense that something has shifted within you even before they see the tangible changes in your life. You have stepped into a higher vibration, and everything around you begins rising to meet it. The more you live in this new state, the more evidence you gather that your assumptions are creative. Small manifestations begin showing up, little confirmations that you are aligned with your chosen reality. And each confirmation builds your faith. Each success becomes a reminder that you are the operant power, the Ni who determines the shape of your world through feeling and imagination. Challenges may still come, but you now meet them from a different level of awareness. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with faith. Instead of collapsing into old assumptions, you return gently to the feeling of fulfillment. You hold to your inner reality with love, knowing that the outer world will catch up in its own perfect timing. And as you continue, something beautiful begins to happen. Your desire becomes less of a goal and more of a natural expression of who you are. You no longer try to manifest. You simply live from the truth that everything you desire is already yours in consciousness. This effortless living becomes your new normal. Your imagination, once a place of escape, becomes a place of creation. Your inner world, once overshadowed by fear, becomes illuminated with possibility. Your heart, once weighed down by longing, becomes lifted by certainty. The world around you becomes more vibrant, more responsive, more alive with meaning. You start noticing symbols, synchronicities, moments that align perfectly with your inner assumptions. It feels as though life is speaking to you, reflecting back your inner transformation in 1,000 subtle ways. And even when nothing seems to be happening outwardly, you remain anchored in the unseen, trusting the quiet process unfolding beneath the surface. You have learned that delay does not mean denial. It simply means alignment is still taking shape. You no longer rush the process because you understand that the moment you assumed the fulfillment, the creation was complete spiritually. The physical world is just rearranging itself to match the state you now occupy. As days pass, your inner world becomes your sanctuary, a place where you can return at any moment to feel the reality of your desire. You carry this sanctuary with you, no matter where you go. It becomes the source of your peace, your strength, your clarity. And as you dwell in this inner fullness, the outer world becomes a mirror reflecting the truth you have claimed. You begin to notice that your reactions are softer, your expectations higher, your energy calmer. You no longer feel the urgency that once gripped you. You no longer measure your progress by outer circumstances. Instead, you measure it by how deeply you feel the truth of your assumption. And as that feeling deepens, your life quietly transforms. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach appear effortlessly. Relationships begin to reflect the love you have cultivated within. Finances begin to shift as you assume abundance. Health improves as you assume wholeness. Every area of life rises to meet the version of you who has stepped fully into the feeling of fulfillment. This is the subtle power of living from the end. You do not wait for your desire. You welcome it. You do not chase it. You embody it. You do not hope for it. You accept it. And that acceptance becomes the invisible force shaping the world around you. And with each passing moment, you grow more certain that imagination is not merely a tool. It is your true creative power, a divine gift entrusted to you so that you may shape your life from within. You begin to use it intentionally, lovingly, confidently, knowing that what you imagine with feeling must one day become your lived experience. In the end, everything comes back to the quiet, powerful truth that has been whispering to you all along. Your wish becomes reality the moment you dare to claim it within yourself. Not when the world shows you proof, not when circumstances shift, but when you shift, when you accept that what you desire is already yours in the unseen. This is the moment creation is complete. This is the moment your life begins to change. You were never meant to chase, to struggle, or to question your worth. You were meant to imagine, to assume, and to trust the deeper power moving through you. The power that formed the stars, shaped the oceans, and breathed life into you is the same power responding to your inner world right now. When you feel the end is real, when you walk in faith instead of fear, when you choose love over doubt, creation bends in your favor. So step boldly into the feeling of what you desire. Let it settle into your heart as something already done. Let your imagination lead you, comfort you, empower you, and trust deeply, completely, that the world will rise to meet the truth you have accepted. You are the creator of your reality. You always have been. And the moment you embrace this truth, the moment you claim your desire with unwavering faith, the universe moves, reshapes, and aligns to bring it forth in ways more beautiful than you ever imagined. This is your moment. Claim it, live it, become it.